Announcing the commencement of the first purge.
I want you to change the world, and don't think that this is going to happen peacefully or you can do it alone. We need to kill the rich. You get out there, you use your weapons, and you rip Washington apart. You hunt down the billionaires, the bank bosses, the CEOs, the scumbags and the liars, the governors, the lobbyists, the senators, because they're all the same, and you hang them.
Just remember all the good the purge does.
You know, most people would love to believe, most Americans would love to believe that they own themselves. But you don't. You have zero ownership over yourself or your so-called property. None. Zero. Don't believe me? There's plenty of legislation, plenty of articles out there that point you to the various legislation that proves that your freedom has been legislated away many, many, many years ago. Slavery was never, ever abolished. Slavery simply took on a different face, a different management style. You are a free-range slave. And that basically means you get to buy the things you want to buy. You get to go more or less to places you would like to go. You can engage in behavior deemed acceptable by your owners. And if your behavior isn't acceptable to your owners, you are punished. Now, recently, there was an article regarding the IRS blocking people's passports because they owe a tax bill to them, to the feds. You are made the property not of your government a long time ago, but of the Bank of International Settlement, the United Nations, the Federal Reserve. That is who owns you. Your government doesn't even own you. No. A handful of foreign-owned central banks own you. They own your car. They own your house. They own your child. They own everything. You've been pawned off by the politicians you elected, your parents elected, and your grandparents and great-grandparents elected. They sold you like the slaves you are. I don't expect some random asshole to stumble across this video and believe a fucking word I say, because, hey, I'm just some crazy white guy. But if I can spark your curiosity in the slightest bit, if only to debunk what I'm saying, maybe it will be another individual that digs in and finds that reality and just isn't what we've been told. People would like to think that, you know, Our reality is a sound and continual thing. It's not. Your reality can change at any moment. For example, 2001, 9/11, reality changed. And it's changed several times since. Now, these different versions of reality, they resemble each other strongly, but there's variances. There's things that just alter the way you exist, and that's what I'm talking about. The Federal Reserve Act back in 1916, that was one of those things that altered the reality of well, citizenship here in the United States. Now, you stop being a fairly free people at that point and started being collateral. That's what you are. You're collateral. Everything is collateral. The infrastructure is collateral. Why do you think it's hardly worked on? Because it's collateral. Why the fuck would they fix something they know they don't own anymore? I wouldn't. If I knew I didn't own my truck anymore, if some bank could come and take it away, I wouldn't bother to fix that motherfucker. And sit there. But, you know, there's forces that work on behalf of the bank. It wouldn't be the bank to come and take my truck. It would be law enforcement. You know, for some infraction or another. That's what I'm talking about when I say they dictate your behavior. Not that, you know, driving excessively fast or driving drunk are good things. They're not. But, you know, what gives one group of people the right to say that this speed is too fast for this place at any particular time? It don't make any sense. And this is just a small example, you know, how your conduct is dictated to you. I mean, most sensible people are gonna adjust their speed according to, you know, the weather conditions, according to traffic congestion, according to average speed of the other people around them. But, you know, they gotta have these fucking signs up everywhere dictating to you when you can turn, how you can turn, where you can turn, left, right, and so on. I mean, they micromanage the people to the point where there's signs everywhere telling you what to do. And if you're caught not observing these whims, you have to deal with the consequences of the state and law enforcement. You have to, you know, maybe you'll have to go get your card out and impound and bail yourself out of jail. But no matter what, you're going to pay for it, whether it's through extensive stay at a prison or through, your labor and having to pay the motherfuckers. One way or another, they're getting that shit out of you. You are their property. And, you know, to prove that, just try leaving the country and never coming back. You have to pay them off. You have to buy your freedom in order to do that, in many cases. There was that chess player. He got in trouble for accepting money in Yugoslavia for a rematch between himself and the champion before him, a Russian. And he accepted money, and he was wanted for many, many years after that, and finally busted in Japan. I mean, they own you to that fucking extent. They own you to the extent that at any given time some bureaucrat can decide you're not a fit parent, and they can bring the fucking SWAT team with you, or with them, and kick in your doors, and steal your children, and put them in foster care at some fucking pedophile's house. They own you to that extent. And, by the way, if you act out in any physical way during this kidnapping, you can bet the police are going to either beat you to a bloody pulp or kill you, or if not beat you to a bloody pulp and drag your ass to jail for resisting. Can't resist the state. And if you're ever successful at resisting the state, let's say a team of state agents come to your door, and you're inside, they kick in the door, you have a nice shotgun there, pump action, and you take every one of those motherfuckers out, and then a chopper comes, you shoot that fucking chopper down with your AR. What do you suppose you would be called for defending yourself? And that's what it would be. You defending yourself. But, you know, Americans, they value their creature comforts above all else. I mean, just look at the amount of incredibly obese people there are around this country. You want to talk about a drug epidemic, the opiate epidemic? No. Try the obesity epidemic. I mean, I can't even find pants really for myself because everyone has a waist that is bigger than 30. Seriously. I mean, if I don't want to shop at Walmart, I guess maybe Old Navy might have some shit, but I'm not really into Old Navy kind of stuff. But I digress. So, is it acceptable to you that you're owned by somebody? I mean, isn't that the opposite of the shit we're told throughout our lives by many people that we are a free people and we are self-governed and we have a government for the people, by the people, or by the people and for the people, whatever way it goes. But no, that's not the reality of it, is it? The reality is, The government is for the bankers, by the bankers. The reality is we're not a free people. The reality is, it's a fucking minor miracle that our people have been able to maintain our right to bear arms, but that right too has been under attack for how long? How long is it going to be until they're successful? How long is it going to be until finally they get their way? And then what? Well, I can tell you what. I'll tell you right now what. You think that you have it good now, and that the people across this country who get into trouble are just some fucking troublemaking scum out there raising hell. You're going to be a victim of the very same fucking system those people are. And when that system gets you, it doesn't let go. It plays games with you. You are owned. This should not be an acceptable thing to anyone. Yet, here we are. Is it because you don't know that you're owned? I mean, how can you not know? How can you not know that you are an owned human being? Just look at the taxes you pay. Look at the enormous consequences for stepping out of line. Just look around you. I mean, your property can be taken at the whim. Eminent domain. This is our fucking property now because it can better serve the public in our hands. How about, we haven't really found any evidence that you've committed a crime, but you know what? We think we're going to take your car and house anyway. It's called civil asset forfeiture. You fucking slave. So, quit living in fantasy land, because the longer you live there, the more painful it's going to be when reality kicks you in the balls. You need to man up and face shit for what it is, so we can do something about it. I wasn't going to do it, but check it out. There's two types of citizenship. A voluntary association, or that of a condition of servitude. If a citizenship is a voluntary association, it implies that one is free to leave the association. A voluntary association can be terminated. One just leaves the association. One simply renounces citizenship. One simply ceases to reside in the country. If one leaves, then that country does not attempt to apply its laws in, you know, in that manner. So, clearly, we don't have that free association. It does not exist. We must associate with our government, whether we want to or not. If a citizen is a condition, or if citizenship is a condition of servitude, then the situation is different. The country assumes a property right in the citizen. Ownership of the citizen implies that the country can tax the citizen regardless of where the citizen resides, and this is true. They can tax you no matter where you live. Can conscript the citizen into military service, and most interestingly, can control the behavior of the citizen outside of the country, and this too applies. So, the notion that we have any kind of self-determination or ownership is utterly false. It's false, it's a fantasy, it's a fairy tale. Do you enjoy living in a fairy tale? I don't know about you, but I for one, am a little fucking tired of living in this fairy tale, and I would like to leave it. And I'm not talking about dying here. Just the opposite. I'm not interested in leaving it in a body bag. But if I must, I must. I'm interested in winning. You people know what I'm telling you. It's true. You know it. You know it's unacceptable. You know it. And yet you watch the likes of Alex Jones, somebody who's deeply entrenched emotionally in his statism, in his ideology. The same goes for the Turks, Young Turks, or anyone on that, in that paradigm. I mean, just look at how Whoopi Goldberg melted fucking down over what Judge Jeanine said. Bitch completely lost her mind. I mean, flipped out. If this is how people are going to behave, well, we have serious fucking mental problems in this country. Serious mental problems. But, you know, because I believe in self-ownership and you know, determination, and I believe in what we're supposed to have, free will, I'm the crazy one, right? These people, they need to be locked away for good, forever. Never to step foot in our society again. All of them. Anything short of that. And I'm talking about all of them. All of them. They can take the place of all of non-violent offenders who are rotting in a fucking shithole, borderline concentration camp. Anyway. What is it going to take to show you? What is it going to take for us to get done what needs to be done? Anyway, hope y'all have a good day. Kill the state before it kills you.